By the time you wake up and watch this video, you'll likely be greeted by dozens upon dozens of articles from all sorts of mainstream media sources claiming that Elon Musk is the devil incarnate. That's going to be because he had the audacity to suggest that just maybe it would be a good idea to rate the media on things like their credibility, their authenticity, their accuracy, their integrity, to rate specific journalists and journalism organizations based on these criteria. And he's talked about how the media has lost a lot of its credibility over the years. Currently, at the time of me doing this video, there's 681,000 votes in his poll. 88% say this would be good, 12% say no, the media is awesome. Elon Musk continues to troll by saying, "Come on, media, you can do it. Get more people to vote for you. You are literally the media." Now, this came out of the fact that there was this Reveal News article, I believe it stems from here, where they're talking about how the Tesla factory may be safe, but they tried to keep some injuries off the books, and they're applying some sinister and not so nice motives to Tesla in this article. To be clear, I believe that Tesla is the Apple of cars. I tend to have an anti-Tesla bias, therefore I may be tainted into an anti-Elon bias. So when I read this article, the first thing that I think, before I do any fact-checking or third-party research is, wow, that's bad. Elon's bad. And then I will read tweets from people who are associated with Reveal, like from Al Letson here, and one of the things that he retweeted was, "Who do you think owns the press? Hello?" And he says, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. And he's assuming that it is an anti-Semitic dog whistle. And when you read this, "Who do you think owns the press? Hello?" I'm sure there's some alt-writer out there that has this on a t-shirt, and you know what they mean. They mean, "Who do you think owns the press?" with the 3 parentheses on each side, and you know what that means. But if you take a closer look and you actually look at who he's responding to, as Jeff Mason properly suggests here, and you read that, you can actually see who he responded to. He responded to someone, said, "You're very smart, so I want you to think about this for a second. Do you think it's in the interest of powerful people to support a free press that exposes their lies, or tear it down so their lies are easier to tell? Now ask yourself why the polls would look bad." He says, "Who do you think owns the press? Hello." It's very clear when you read this tweet that Elon is implying that powerful people own the press, because he is responding to a tweet where the primary noun is powerful people. So when you read stuff like this, where Reveal is instantly applying an anti-Semitic context by erasing the tweet that he was replying to, and then pushing that so that he can get everybody to think that Elon Musk is this evil anti-Semite without looking at context, I look at this article that very well may be an amazing, well-sourced, proper article with no bias, with nothing wrong with it, and I think, screw this article. I can't believe anything that came from this source, because people associated with this source are totally fine taking somebody's quote out of context to apply to them and some anti-Semitic label so that it is easier to discredit them and destroy them. This is what the mainstream media has been doing for a very long time. And there's a very good reason that people don't trust them. And it's very, very sad, because an article that I would actually have a bias to believe everything in is now an article that I would have to crawl through with a fine-tooth comb and do a lot of research on every single thing they said. If you have the ability to take things out of context to make someone look like an anti-Semite to get your point across, I can't believe a damn thing that you have to say. Now, Al will say, well, I know what a dog whistle is, and we know what dog whistles are and how people hear them, and I understand what you're saying there. But the thing is, we can't not say things that make sense because some crazy person may hear it as a dog whistle. I have an equal amount of people that I have to report as spam for calling me derogatory names because they think I'm a Jew, because they don't know the difference between 1N and 2N and Rossman, as I have people that are saying, "Oh my God, look, he's making fun of Apple and their planned obsolescence, he's naming the Jew." If I'm talking about a specific case where Apple screwed over a specific person, and I say, "They don't care about you, they're trying to screw you," I'm not going to stop using they, because there are a very small subset of the population that assume anytime somebody says they mean they with 3 parentheses on each side of it as a derogatory way of speaking about Jews. I don't do that. I'm not going to change the entire manner within which I speak when what I'm saying is totally reasonable, because 0.1% of the population is going to choose to take everything people say out of context. But the sad reality of the situation is that there are people who are totally willing to take advantage of this and totally willing willing to throw people under the bus by calling them racist this or anti-that when that has nothing to do with it, and they're happy to throw away context in the pursuit of destroying and discrediting people that they disagree with. I can clarify what I say, and I can speak in terms that I believe 99.9% of the population will understand. But we live in a world now where people will willfully twist the context of what you say on purpose to make you look bad. And that is precisely why, when you look at Elon's poll, it says 88% would think this is good and 12% think that the media is awesome. Elon Musk is a billionaire in a society that is increasingly becoming more and more hostile towards the 1% and rich people. There is a reason that more people are willing to vote in favor of Elon Musk than they are the journalists making $30,000 a year eating ramen. It's because when we read what comes out in most pieces of journalism, we recognize it as complete and utter garbage. And the more you understand about any particular topic, the more likely you are to be enraged and aggravated when you read about it being reported, whether it's in mainstream media or even any other news site that just follows a traditional format of publishing media. I'm going to read some excerpts from this terrible article in the Portland Mercury. And the one point I want to get across, if I get across any point reading this, is the level of contempt and condescension that the mainstream media has for the people that read and consume their content, for people like you. It says, however you feel about the state of the media, Musk is delusional if he thinks enlisting the general public to decide what is accurate and what is not is going to solve any problems. But still, journalists and editors have skills that the public doesn't, which is exactly what they are paid barely to report. The InfoWars website receives more visits each month than The Economist. Are these audiences really who we want deciding what's accurate and what's not? The way to solve these problems with media is to support it. It's to donate to public radio and TV and nonprofits. The way to not fix the media? Turn it into fucking Yelp. All right, so let's go through this. He's delusional if he thinks enlisting the general public to decide what's accurate is going to solve any problem. Okay, so let's guess here. Who do you think would be better at creating an encyclopedia of all the world's information? General people who are not getting paid, or a multi-billion-dollar company? Microsoft Encarta or Wikipedia? If your answer was the multi-billion-dollar corporation, you're wrong. If your answer was random everyday people that just organize themselves into hierarchies naturally and are willing to happily publish data, you'd be right. The general public may get a lot of things wrong. However, one thing that people in general are very good at when they collect themselves into large groups is finding the truth, especially if their explicit goal is to find the truth. The one thing that we are stronger pursuing together is the truth. The truth is not something that can be pursued by a small minority of people working behind closed doors. The truth is not an assignment. It's not a blog post. It's not an article. The truth is a conversation. And the larger the conversation, the more people that are included in that conversation, and the better organized that conversation is, the closer we will get to the actual truth, not some activist blogger's version of it. That's why things like Wikipedia work out so well, and that's why a platform similar to Wikipedia for journalists would be such an eye-opening, amazing creation that sheds light on so many people that are actually activists who are pretending to be journalists. When you have a platform where over 280 million people are coming together with the sole goal of pursuing the truth and figuring out what is accurate, what is credible, what is real, what is authentic, you no longer get to be an activist and pretend that you're a journalist. You have to do real hard reporting. You have to provide facts without your slant or bias slung into it like what you see with this article. The general public is actually quite smarter than you think, and if you've ever used Wikipedia before, hey, that's something that was cataloged and crowdsourced by general people. They found people that were very intelligent, very good, very well-informed in specific fields, and they all came together and said, okay, what do you know that I don't? Okay, I know a lot about this, you know a lot about that, I'll talk about this, you talk about that. They got together and they figured out what the truth is. After those people got together and organized themselves as to who knew the most about what topic, you then had hundreds of millions of people from around the world chime in with their opinions and their ideas and their sources and their whatever, and they all collectively came to the truth together. Secondly, you see here that there's that Frank Grimes, Homer Simpson kind of general contempt for people that make money. And this one line over here where it says, but still, journalists and editors have skills that the public doesn't, which is exactly with they are paid barely to report. You can sense the snark and the barely over there. yeah, maybe you would not be paid barely if you knew how to construct a fucking sentence. That sentence does not make sense. That does not pass second grade phonics. There is a reason that you are barely paid. When you read these articles, it's refreshing to read such honest insight into the level of contempt these journalists have for the average reader. However, the one thing that they have that's even more contemptuous than their feelings for the average reader is their contempt for the free market economic system that sets their net worth at something that is akin to their skill level. Over here, they say donate to public radio. And of course, they want to be funded by public means and funded by the government. Because if they're funded by a non-voluntary means of revenue, then they don't have to worry about things like upping their skill set or being actually valuable to the public or doing things like learning how to type a fucking sentence properly when writing an article criticizing a multi-billionaire. I don't know about you, but I tend not to trust people as arbiters of the truth when they are brooding with contempt and condescension towards me. Just maybe if you knew how to construct a fucking sentence, you'd be getting paid something over $35,000 a year. They want to be the ones that tell you what's true. They want you to believe them when they say that Bitcoin at $1,500 is a bubble and it's going to burst to zero when it actually goes to $20,000 or $10,000. They want you to believe that when Trump gets elected, the stock market's going to be going terribly and everybody's going to lose their jobs and the world is going to end when people got a bunch of bonuses at Christmas time at the same time that the stock market reached record highs. Like, if you listen to these people, you will make bad decisions. You will be misinformed. They are not the arbiters of truth that they would like to make themselves out to be. And a platform similar to Wikipedia that would rate the authenticity, the integrity, the truthfulness, and the accuracy of media would actually be a really great idea. Wikipedia worked very, very well as an encyclopedia. Can you imagine applying that to news organizations and journalists? It would be great. Why is it that all these journalists from all these different walks of life with all these different opinions that all just so happen to be part of mainstream media outlets hate Elon Musk right now? I want you to think about it. Why are they so afraid of being judged by the very readership that they think are complete fucking morons? There's a reason that they're so afraid of it. And it's not because Elon Musk is this evil, terrible, horrible person, even if he is. The reason is because they don't want to be called out on their bullshit. And they're very close to being called out on their bullshit by the readership that they so despise and depend on for their income. I think that Elon Musk has a great idea here. And regardless of whether or not I like Elon Musk and regardless of whether or not I like Tesla, I think something like Wikipedia, but that rates the credibility of journalists, would be amazing. And if we could even accomplish 10% of what Wikipedia did for the encyclopedia with journalism by rating them on items such as their credibility, their accuracy, and their integrity, I think the world would be a much better place. I would happily donate to that organization, and I would happily be a part of that organization. There are so many people with a very clear slant, an obvious bias, who want the world to go in a specific direction, who have an agenda, who pretend to be journalists that are misleading you. These individuals do not want their power taken away. They do not want their position of authority, which they use to mislead you, to be vacated. They want to be able to call someone an anti-semite when they dislike them, and to have that individual's credibility be immediately stripped based on the authority of their position as a journalist. And they are aggravated at the fact that a platform may come up that questions and compromises their ability to make those types of character assassinations. Speaking of character assassinations, take a look at how the media operates when it comes to talking about people that they don't like. Female journalists, have you ever been harassed by Elon Musk fans? Please DM me your most horrific tweets and messages. And please share this, because that's an argument. That's totally an argument. Copying and pasting what the worst shit posters have said on the internet in support of individual X is totally an argument against individual X. Everything Jordan Peterson ever said is totally discredited by the fact that one person said something mean in a tweet to Kathy Newman. Can you imagine that this is the standard? This is the way they work. This is the way they operate. This is the very thing that Elon's platform would seek to point out, shine a light on, and discredit. And this is exactly why they're scared, because these types of tactics do not work in a world where people are watching and paying attention. In a world where everyone is watching and collectively judging and rating you on your integrity, accuracy, and dedication to the truth, you will not be able to co-opt the rising consciousness of the women's movement that's happening in our culture to ad hominem and label somebody as a misogynist by proxy because you cannot construct a proper fucking argument. All these hit pieces that are coming out right now and all these hit pieces that are going to be coming out tomorrow. All of these articles that are aggravated and mad at what Elon Musk is doing. How dare he decide that the general public, that the readership judge the integrity and accuracy of what is being written? What they're afraid of right now is the light being shined on them. They're afraid of being revealed as bloggers and activists that are pretending to be journalists. And it's a great thing. Look at Wikipedia. Don't doubt the general public's ability to find the truth. Don't doubt yourself. And regardless of what I think of Elon Musk, regardless of whether I like or dislike him, he's onto something here, and he's got a point.